Hi. So we're back. We're in Genesis chapter 45. And Joseph's brothers have gone back to Egypt the second time. And Joseph kind of framed them, really, saying that Benjamin, the youngest son, who he asked them to send to him, has stolen this special cup from him. And he wants to keep Benjamin and send the brothers on their way. And Judah came up and said, no, send my brother home so he doesn't break my father's heart. I'll stay in his place. So here we are in chapter 45. When Joseph could not restrain himself before all those who stood by him, and he cried out, make everyone go out from me. So no one stood with him while Joseph made himself known to his brothers. And he wept aloud, and the Egyptians in the house of Pharaoh heard it. So he couldn't take it anymore. He told all the servants in the house, servants and all the people around him to just go away. Okay, but he kept his brothers there, and he couldn't take it anymore. And he screamed out and he wept out loud that he is who he is, so loud that the Egyptians in the house of Pharaoh heard it. Then Joseph said to the brothers, he cried that hard. I'm sorry. Then Joseph said to his brothers, I am Joseph. Does my father still live? But his brothers could not answer him, for they were dismayed in his presence. And Joseph said to his brothers, please come near to me. So they came near, and he said, I am Joseph, your brother, whom you sold into Egypt. But now do not therefore be grieved or angry with yourselves because you sold me here, for God sent me before you to preserve life. For these 2 years the famine has been in the land, and there are still 5 years in which there will be neither plowing or harvesting. And God sent me before you to preserve the posterity for you in the earth, and to save your lives by a great deliverance. So now it was not you who sent me here, but God, and he has made me a father to Pharaoh, and lord of all his house, and a ruler throughout the land of Egypt. It's interesting. That reminds me of the verse that says, what you meant for evil, God meant for good. See, his brothers were being nasty to him. They were being really bad. But it was part of God's plan. And even though it might have been painful, and I'm sure that it was for Joseph at certain times because he was in prison, remember? But God had a plan. And so he set everything up. Not only did he save their life, but we're seeing now way into the future that there's pictures here of what's to come when Jesus sacrifices for us, and how the Lord also provides for us. Okay, so carrying on, verse 9, he says, hurry up and go to my father and say to them, this says your son Joseph, God has made me Lord of all Egypt. Come down to me and do not tarry. You shall dwell in the land of Goshen, and you shall be near to me, you and your children and your children's children, your flocks and your herds, and all that you have. There I will provide for you, lest you and your household and all that you have come to poverty. For there is still 5 years of famine. And behold, your eyes and the eyes of my brother Benjamin see that it is in my mouth that speaks to you. So you shall tell my father of all my glory in Egypt and all that you have seen, and you shall hurry and bring my father down here. Then he fell on his brother Benjamin's neck and wept, and Benjamin wept on his neck. Moreover, he kissed all his brothers and wept over them, and after that his brothers talked with him. Now the report of it was heard in Pharaoh's house, saying, excuse me, Joseph's brothers have come. So it pleased Pharaoh and his servants well. And Pharaoh said to Joseph, say to your brothers, do this, load your animals and depart, and go to the land of Canaan. Bring your father and your households and come to me, and I will give you the best of the land of Egypt, and you will eat the fat of the lamb. Now you are commanded, do this, take carts out of the land of Egypt for your little ones and your wives. Bring your father and come. Do not be concerned about your goods, for the best of all the land of Egypt is yours. So Pharaoh was very welcoming to Israel and all of Joseph's brothers and their wives and so on and so forth. As far as saying, yeah, they can come to Goshen, they can stay there. We're going to send carts so that the ladies and the children don't have to They don't have to walk, they don't have to carry the babies. They can ride in the carts. And you don't even have to bring your stuff. We have better stuff here. You can have everything that you need right here. And then the sons of Israel did so, and Joseph gave them carts according to the command of Pharaoh, and he gave them provisions for the journey, and he gave to all of them, to each man, changes of garments, but to Benjamin he gave 300 pieces of silver and 5 changes of garments. And he sent to his father these things: 10 donkeys loaded with the good things of Egypt, and 10 female donkeys loaded with grain, bread, and food for his father for the journey. So he sent his brothers away, and they departed, and he said to them, see that you do not become troubled along the way. So basically he's like, go safely, we'll see you soon. That's kind of what he was saying. Gave them food, just like we do today. You know, have you ever been to your grandma's house or something, and before you leave she starts filling a bag with all this stuff to send home with you? That's what Joseph is doing here. He's treating them like family already. He's giving them food, he's giving them clothes, he's sending things for his dad, he's making it as easy as possible for them to get here. And he's like, oh, you know, be careful. And then when he went out, when they went out of Egypt and came to the land of Canaan, to Jacob their father, and they told him, saying, Joseph is still alive, and he is governor all over the land of Egypt. And Jacob's heart stood still, because he did not believe them. But when they told him all the words which Joseph had said to them, and he saw the carts which Joseph had sent to carry them, the spirit of Jacob their father revived. And then Israel said, it is enough, Joseph, my son is still alive. I will go and see him before I die. I just kind of imagine it. You know, when you hear something and you're not expecting to hear it, and you're like speechless, like you feel like your heart stopped. That's what they're saying happened to Jacob. Like he never, ever thought he would see Joseph again, but he did.